Frank Zappa, Apostrophe, 9 tracks, 32 minutes, 18th studio album from the great man, released March 1974 by Discreet Records, produced by Frank Zappa. Recorded across 3 studios in New York and California. 1 single was released, an edited version of Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, which was the first of Zappa's 3 US Top 100 hits, getting up to number 86, while the album itself got to number 10 in the US. This album is Zappa's most commercially successful album in the US, reaching gold certification, and a large portion of this was recorded at the same time as the previous record, Overnight Sensation, and uses the same musicians to go across both those albums. This one. Who wants to go first on this?
Nicky's going first.
Nicky's going first.
No, Brendan, no. No.
Yes, this is Brendan's choice, obviously.
I didn't like it. Just...
I'm sorry. It was torturous.
It was torturous. I just don't get it. I want it to be like so cool and hip and open-minded and just, you know, go with this. No. Yuck. Ew. But that is me being really...
eloquent.
Articulate. I just don't get this dude. I honestly don't. Is he a piss take? I suppose he's a joke, but
He's not a joke.
No.
Extremely intelligent.
I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
That's all it gets from me.
Okay.
Wow.
Thanks for listening.
Nanook rubs it. Zappa's always fun to sit down and just let yourself be taken away on a journey to whatever weird fucking place he wants to tell you. He's a character for sure. Great use of language, and the way he presents his lyrics is truly unique. I like how his spoken word is accompanied by the backup singers, so it keeps it kind of grounded in a way. Its storytelling is bizarre and often outright insane. You can picture this in a performance in a smoky jazz club where people are just hanging off his every word, and it's engaging enough for you to just follow along and think, what the fuck did you just say? That sounded cool, but okay, we're on to something new. This is even more bizarre. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of complex arrangements that go into these songs, lots of different instruments, and I love how each song rolls into the next. It's a concept album of sorts. Bizarre. 9 out of 10. A lot of fun.
Wow.
Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, Nanook Rubs It, Father Oblivion, and Apostrophe are my standouts.
It's just almost like Frank Zappa plays the Mighty Boosh.
No, Tim, because I like the Mighty Bush.
Yeah, but that's it's worth like any Zappa album.
It'll take a while.
Yeah, it'll take a while, and it takes a little bit, and even then, like, not every Zappa album's the same. It's all a little bit.
They're really not.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's somebody worth trying. You know, and if he doesn't get you, it's worth going to a different album.
It's okay, you can't offend him, he's dead.
Yeah. Well, we've learned alternatives.
I like him. I'm not doing anything to...
See your previous review.
Well, yeah, sort of...
Listen to his own album.
Name. Fuck.
So the spoken word, it's kind of jazzy fusion. At points, it kind of sounded like Parliament Funkadelic in little parts. The musicianship is incredible, as expected from a Zappa album. The lyrics are fantastic. Overall, this is a real complete journey from start to finish. It's wacky, it's different, it's downright insane, but it's Frank Zappa. That's what he does, and that's what he does good. So for mine, this is a 9 out of 10, or an 8, 9 out of 10, yeah. The production as well, everything kind of sits really nicely. Everything comes through just as much as you need it. Not too much, not too little of everything. Everything is fantastic. I love this record.
All right. Well, first things first, is there a more prolific artist out there? I mean, how much fucking material did this guy release? It's insane. On this record, though, hello early 70s. They don't make them like this anymore. Zappa was one of a kind. You can't ever fault the performances on this man's albums. Like, he gets the best musicians from wherever the fuck he needs to make beautiful chaos, is the best way to describe it. Frank was one of a kind. His delivery is amazing and unlike anything else you'll ever listen to. You'll never get anything like it again. His spoken storytelling is fantastic, and it's broken up just right by the singing, either with him or the backing musicians. Musically, this is incredibly diverse. It borders on chaotic, but somehow this is just kept... It's one of those things where you're just waiting for it to stack, and it never actually tips over and hits the wall. Like, this is always right on that edge. Musically, composition-wise, performance-wise, production-wise, it's always just on the edge. You're waiting for it to hit a wall, and it never, ever does. And that's a remarkable feat across the whole fucking thing. But I like how, lyrically... they use the obvious statement as a comedic punch, and it's just so inane, but the delivery is hilarious, and the humour involved in that. I think if you're a fan of things like the British humour, this will rub off on you. If you're not a fan of that, if you want something a little more, I don't know, Three Stooges kind of thing, it's not going to really get you the same way. The advancement in the composition is fucking mind-blowing, especially from the 70s. Just what the fuck? The use of instruments as part of the entire soundscape is mesmerising. I like how the stories are completed and told within the songs, musically and lyrically as well. It's really well done, and I obviously love the humour on this one. Production's impressive, certainly vintage. It shows its age and its era, but for all that, it's still incredibly crisp and clear today. Not a lot of tricks employed. There never really are. With Zappa, it's the old school thing where you basically get them all in a room, they perform and do their thing, and any sound effects are actually added by musicians with instruments within the room. It's like the old school sort of BBC live broadcasting type mentality. Everything sits where it's supposed to. The tones are rich, full and clear, great diversity in the production side of things just to capture it all, and it just sounds fantastic. You can hear the vintage mics on this one, and that's awesome. You don't hear that much, and I love how clearly you can hear that. It sizzles and pops in just the right ways. Vintage record done damn well. It stands test of time, and I love how the tones bleed and ring out on this one. Gives you that feel, like I said, of a live band in the studio. For something as diverse as this, it was always going to be interesting to see how the track order would come together. I think that's possibly a stumbling block, but they got it right on this one. For as eclectic as it is, this could have become one big fucking hot mess. Again, you're waiting for things to fall off the rails. But the composition combined with the album craft keeps it all together really well. This sucks you in because there's so much talent on display, it's ridiculous. This should not work, and it does. And for all the talk about how potentially challenging it might be with this band, this, for me, is actually remarkably accessible as far as Zappa albums go. I think this is one of the ones that you gateway. This is where you start with Zappa. This is one of the ones where, okay, if you're not sure how to take him, so Nikki, you're fucked, you'll never get into it. But if you can get this album, this is like the gateway for you to go and further explore his work. I don't know, you're the biggest connoisseur of Zappa here, but I think that's a fair statement to make.
Absolutely.
I reckon this is one everyone should listen to a few times just to get their head around it properly. And if you don't get it on this album, you'll never get Frank Zappa. But this will hook a lot more than I think it'll lose, so to speak. So I gave this an 8.5 out of 10. Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, Nanook rubs it, Stinkfoot and Apostrophe, my standouts.
Cool.
Brendan.
Well, quite happy with how that's all gone down, and a little bit surprised, to be honest with you.
Torture for
I've
me.
never hated Zappa. I just there was something that was confusing.
This was, but this was my introduction to Frank Zappa, and a friend of mine actually bought it for me for my birthday, believe it or not. Came with the CD, he goes, "This is for you. You know, never heard a Zappa album in my life." He goes, "I think this will get you." And over a couple of beers, we listened to it again and again and again that night, and this was it for me. I have never been the same since. This album is absolutely
what's his
blew
name?
my brain. His name is Chris Pollard. He's out there. He's
You're
watching.
in trouble, dude. I'm coming for you.
If you do want to dabble with Zappa, this is certainly, I think, the best place to start. It's not as offensive to the ear as some of the others are. We did Zappa in New York, which that's more of a mess, and that's bigger and confusing, and a bigger soundscape. This is a little bit easier to take.
It's shorter too.
Yeah, and the musical arrangements, they're incredible, but they're also fun.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't get all the incredible time signature changes and all that going on, it's still sort of fun to the ear, and it's playful.
You can casually listen to this one.
Yeah. You got the horns and the vocals and xylophones and all this over the top of traditional sort of, rock instruments, and it all seems to come together beautifully. The lyrics are absurd and hilarious in a way that only Frank can sort of deliver.
Anyone else doing it wouldn't come off.
Yeah, that's right. And like the first 4 songs that tell that, funny story about the Eskimo and the Husky and all that stuff, and that's all great. But then he comes in with a song like Cosmic Debris, which is a lovely little piss take on the Beatles and all this sort of stuff at the moment, going through their bloody, Maharajas and all this kind of bullshit. And he sort of gives his own take on that, and I just think it's wonderful. This album will make perfect sense to you or none at all, I think, which is on display. We're seeing a bit that here. And I understand both points of view because it is weird. But this really did change the way I listen to music. After the day I heard my first Zappa album, I now own about 24 of them, and, it completely has changed the way I'll sit back and listen to an album. If I was stuck on a desert island with 5 albums, this would be one of them.
Nice.
It never gets boring for me. 10 out of 10. Highlights: Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, Nanook Rubs It, St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast, Father Oblivion, Cosmic Debris, and Stinkfoot.
So pretty much all of it.
Yep.
Cool. All right, well, on that note, check it out for yourselves and let us know what you think.
Robbie fucking Williams.
Wow. Okay. Wayne, have you heard that album they just talked about?
Which one?
Zappa.
Zappa? No.
Did
got
you
homework.
listen to it, Mick?
No, I didn't have a chance. I've heard Frank Zappa, I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, maybe
I've
I
got-
just don't have a sense of humour. And I fucking love the Bush.
That's an acquired taste.
He's definitely an acquired
It's
taste.
odd.
Never really listened to him.
But to be honest with you, the musicianship alone, you can just listen to what these guys can do. Fuck,
He
man.
does a lot of strange interviews where he talks about how he plays and nothing's ever the same and
Never plays the same guitar solo twice.
Yeah,
you know,
he
doesn't-
refuses
He refused to, and they did things
Good
like
on
they'd
him.
throw things up in the air,
doesn't-
they'd randomly select songs to
Yeah.
play in the set without any order, and but he's
But he used to do a lot of like tape editing, so he was an absolute militant on timing and everything had to land so you could actually cut and paste
Yeah.
bits together. Freak.
but the way he viewed the world and his discussions on the music industry was like, whoa,
It was well ahead of his time, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
beyond the mark, like so relevant today, and probably will be for the next 30, 40 years.
Yeah, he was a good one. And quite mental.
Usually the smart ones are.
Yeah. You seen it? There's a thing when he was on it's like the Ernie Sigley show or something. It's a really odd interview. He's out here and he's getting the audience to make sounds when he makes movements and stuff. Trying to Ernie Sigley doesn't know what the fuck's going on. It's really good.
He's a brilliant conductor.
Yeah.
Like he is the guy that controls the orchestra. He's never the world's best frontman, but the way he sees the whole thing come together is what makes him so unique.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first on Escapology?
Oh well, if you want.
No.